nicely done, Mike Ferreira, with our open.
Yeah, very good. Very
really
nice.
Yeah.
Makes us proud to be in Fall River tonight, to be reporting live with you from our studio here at Durfee High School. I'm Pamela Martin.
And I'm Keith Tebow from FRC Media, and joined, as we have been for many elections now, is former Fall River Mayor, current Bristol County Commissioner John Mitchell. John, thank you for joining us.
Good to be here with both of you.
I always give the call out and say, you know when we need us.
Yes, and I enjoy it. It's going to be an interesting night.
It's going to be an interesting night. We're watching this mayoral race. Mr. Amaral had a little bit of a hump to overcome. We'll see if he can. And, of course, 3 new seats on the school committee will be interesting.
Yeah, that's you don't see that many openings very frequently on either. The council with 9 members, you don't see it. Certainly the committee with only 6. It's very unusual, but there'll be a whole new committee one way or another.
A whole new school committee. That was one thing I wanted to ask you a little bit about. There's definitely no secret that there's been some discontent and discord and perhaps some, well, less than better behavior, some might suggest, on the school committee. So what is the difference going to be with 3 new members? How can that be made up and hopefully get people working again, which is the reason why people told me they wanted to run for school committee?
I think it depends on who the 3 are, because you've got, you know, different personalities, different people with different policy concerns, and it depends who gets on. Some may be more willing to work with the administration. I think others won't be willing to work with the administration, and by the end of the night, we'll know the lay of the land as far as the school department goes. Yeah,
absolutely. So what our coverage is going to be like tonight is as follows. We've got a lot of activity going on across the city of Fall River. We have Fred TV students that are out and about. They're going to be reporting in from 13 precincts across the city, the north end and the south end. They'll be feeding us numbers here, numbers that are posted right outside those precincts throughout the city of Fall River. And then what we'll be doing is, as soon as we get those, we'll be sending them to you. Those will be sort of our partial numbers. The elections office will provide a total number of all 27 precincts when all those precincts arrive in Government Center. I also want to talk a little bit about what else we're providing you tonight in terms of our coverage. We have cameras at the 2 mayoral headquarters tonight. Mayor Paul Coogan is at Our Lady of Light Band Hall on Quarry Street. We have a live camera there. And we also have a live camera on Primo at Water Street. There's the mayor's location. Still a little light, as those volunteers will be coming in very soon to support the mayor. Mr. Amaral is actually at Primo on Water Street down in the waterfront area of Fall River. Another thing that we're doing a little different this year, particularly if you have Comcast cable television in Fall River, is we're having what we call our Multiview. You're watching us here on Channel 18. That's going to be our main broadcast, FRG TV, Channel 18. If you move over to Fred TV Channel 9, that will be where we will be having a rolling scroll of the results as we have them, as they come in. We'll be broadcasting them here, but they will be posted on Fred TV Channel 9. And then on FRC Media Channel 95 and on our Fall River HD channel, Channel 1072, what you see on the screen right now is what you'll see on those 2 channels, sort of a multi-view, if you will, of our 4 feeds tonight. Our main broadcast here from the Fred TV studios, the numbers that you'll find on Fred TV Channel 9, as well as a continuous live look at the Amaral and Coogan headquarters at Primo on Water Street and the Our Lady of Light Band Hall on Quarry Street. So if you're seeing that, that's what you'll see tonight, depending on what channel you happen to be watching here on cable television.
That was a lot to take in, Keith. So there have been some changes here with some of our technology that the crew has been working behind the scenes, but also a big shout out to our Fred TV students who really learn and earn alongside us industry professionals, if I may
And they're
say.
staffing our cameras here tonight. And again, we mentioned the ones that are out and about getting the results for us as well.
Right. So with the precincts, they closed at 8 o'clock. The polls closed at 8. And we will wait now for the bulk of those 27 flash drives to be delivered by police officers to Ryan Lyons, who is our election commissioner. And he will be operating from below Government Center, way down in the basement. It's kind of a little spooky if you've never been down there. It's below the 6th story.
Well, in years past, we had a camera down there. Not this year, because there used to be a lot more activity years ago down at Government Center.
Right now we have our fearless leader, Renee Kochman,
He's
the
down
boss,
there, waiting for the
waiting.
numbers.
He gets the first slip of numbers, and then they're tallied and put up on the screen for everyone to see and for us to read. So there are a lot of moving parts, but I think at the same time, when I was speaking with Ryan Lyons, who ordered 55,000 ballots for this municipal election, he said there's 60,600 registered voters, and about half of the 5,000 absentee request ballots were returned. So they went to their specific polling places unless it was today. Then they had to go to Ryan's office.
Right.
But overall, these DS200 voting machines, Ryan Lyons says he has a lot of faith in them. They've been error-free, and he feels confident that the results tonight will be accurate. And I think that's what we all want to know, just as Americans who care for the voting. But I have to get back, Mayor Mitchell, I feel like we've been talking about this now for a couple of years, how quiet it has been out there.
It is.
You know, Evan and I kind of went through the city, and tell me about that. What's changed with campaigning for you when you were running against Kathy Ann and Mr. Correa? Really a lot of fun. I thought it was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I was talking to a few of the older
old-timers.
politicians, and there was more activity. You know, I remember when I first started, you literally stood at the steps at the Tansy School, probably 30 feet from the voting, not machines at the time, but the polling place, and no one really complained. I think the big change is the electronics. You know, people are more removed from it. They're organized differently. Early voting affects it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pretty good number. We'll see what the turnout is. But, you know, it may be as much as 25 or 30% of the total vote. And,
Ryan was
that
predicting
affects
about
it.
20.
Yeah, so that affects it. And I think just the whole trend, you know, particularly since the pandemic. You know, I know it's a Tuesday night, but I drove here and
Beautiful day
people don't
weather-wise.
get out as much as they used
And it's also a
to.
beautiful weather day today. A little
Today
windy during the
there's
day,
no
but
excuse,
no,
yeah,
beautiful.
but it was just a very nice day. But yeah, it's changed. It is
Yeah.
much quieter. I mean, the campaigning's changed too. You know, there's not as much out and about. There's more,
To
you
me,
know,
fewer
Facebook
candidates.
postings. Yeah, well, a lot fewer.
A lot fewer candidates.
But again, that's, you know,
That's nationwide.
it's the electronic effect in a different way that, you know, who wants to go through it? Who wants to bear the scrutiny and the anonymous attacks and that type of thing to...
Well, we
you
did
know.
still, of course, have a busy campaign season. Our candidates attended no fewer than a half a dozen debates, including those hosted by independent media companies and even neighborhood groups. Challenger Gabriel Amaral and incumbent Mayor Paul Coogan talked over one another several times during a debate, and they found little to agree on October 21st. That debate was hosted by my colleague, Keith Tebow, and I was a panelist. Sparring went on for several minutes regarding campaign finance laws known as the OCPF. Let's hear about that now.
He can't manage a $20,000 OCPF account. How in God's name is he going to look at a $450 million budget? And as I said, I would never hit him with something negative or confidential. This is public record. Those red checks are all notices. Out of the 36 correspondence he got, 22 of them are negative. My position is you run the city like you run the things that are in front of you. I wouldn't do this. I would have straightened this out from the get-go and maybe had one or two, as he said when he started, but he's still making mistakes. He didn't have his treasurer certified this year. He doesn't understand how a budget works.
So you can look at my accounts now. It's the first time I've raised money, and we're doing very well at it. He doesn't have that problem because they all do it for him. Okay, they all sit there and hand him thousands of dollars where he goes and runs around in parades like he's running the city and writes $250 checks to every organization so he can buy votes. And then this company will sit here and spend $10,000 while all their family members donate to him, and then he gives it away, and then he gives them the jobs for the city, and there's $20 million in taxes, and your taxes go up, and he bought it for $250. I can care less about that stuff. I'm not here to make money. Him and his friends and family are here to make money.
So sitting in the audience for that and being a panelist,
He can't manage a $20,000
that I found was that the mayor had his binder and had questions, and Mr. I keep wanting to say Boomer, but I want to be respectful. He does like to be called Boomer, though. Mr. Amaral kind of just sat back and said, I just want to speak from the heart, and didn't really have prepared notes like we did. What kind of style do you think is most reflective with voters and perhaps says something about their campaign style?
I think it's more to do with the candidate. You know, you can't be other than you are.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, Mayor Coogan's been mayor for a while. He's got a record to run on. You know, I'm sure he's got a little bigger campaign staff, organizes a different way. As a challenger, you are winging more. You're freer to say things because you don't have the record. But I will say one of the things I think inhibiting candidates too is what was just brought up about Mr. Amaral. It's difficult to create a campaign committee, particularly if you don't have people with experience, you don't have the broad background on it. I don't know all his violations, but some of them I know. They're somewhat technical. You know, they're not, what you get from the campaign finance is a letter saying, refile it in this fashion, redo it this way. Sometimes it's their glitches. But, you know, it's intimidating.
He did
And you
state
do
during
have
the
to raise
debate just
money.
what you
Yeah.
said, Mayor. He did
Yeah.
state that they were minor things. It was from another campaign when he ran for city council
Yeah.
earlier. So that was one of the questions I actually have written down to ask you about that. Tell us about the Office of Campaign and Political Finance. I mean, how closely are they watching you? And how do we certify to make sure that when you've collected your signatures, they are legit signatures from voters here in the city?
Well, on the first, they assign someone to each campaign account. And of course, they vary. You know, candidates for city council, selectmen, they're not raising a lot of money. There's not a lot of activities. Mayors, you know, they raise a lot of money, and there's a lot of activity. But they're also, you know, particularly when they've been in office, they know the rules. They tend to have treasurers who have done it for other candidates or take the time to learn it. Some mayors, you know, and certainly state senators, reps, they'll have someone somewhat professional doing it. So it's one of the hard things about starting out. If you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of experience, is just there's a lot of pratfalls. And a lot of them aren't, I mean, some are obviously, you don't take cash, but, you know, there are some that just the way you report it, the form you take it, people stumble a lot on corporate checks when they start. You just can't take them. It's got to be, you can't take money orders.
Right.
You can take cash up to 50, but
So
to
no
do
money
it is so
orders.
much trouble. No.
Wow.
Well, because they're not traceable, so they're in
Yeah,
effect
okay,
cash.
see?
So, and there's just a lot, but they're helpful at the campaign finance office because they do a lot of training. You know, mostly remote. You can call them; they're helpful, and that. So they are there. But you know, if you're running for office, you're working, you got a million things to do. I just think it's another thing that screens people because
Yeah.
it's hard. You know, it's just another intimidating
Yeah.
factor.
So a lot tonight is going to be made about turnout.
Yeah.
Two years ago was just under 20% total turnout. And I just did a little research heading into tonight. I looked at the last 3 elections since Mayor Coogan was first elected in 2019. And in previous elections, there were less registered voters than we have now, 60,600. Okay? The total vote cast in 2019, where Mayor Coogan won, the total votes cast was 14,046. 2 years later, in 2021, there was still some lingering COVID effects, possibly. That number went down to 12,428. Again, still less registered voters than we have today. In 2023, where we had, I believe, close to 50,000 voters 2 years ago, again, more than 2019 and more than 2021, only 11,200 voters came out. And of course, in the preliminary election, it was only about 10% of the voters that came out, about 6,300 total votes. It's really tough to wrap your head around in terms of why that is. And we talked about the apathy that may be around local elections and elections in general, people's comfort, and they're willing not to really believe what they hear maybe from candidates, what they've seen before. I just found those numbers interesting.
I think some of it is you don't have a local press. You have a lot of local news,
Right.
and they're coming from different areas. But, you know, the day of the local paper, I mean, I think some of the national papers are doing great and probably better than they have in the past when you consider electronic and, you know, the few papers they still sell. But Local papers have just, we've seen it locally. They're just not what they were. They still cover things, but they don't have the staff. And you don't have that daily, here's what happened at the debate last night, and, here's something that happened. For instance, campaign violations like that.
Right.
However merited, it would have been a big story, for anyone running for mayor. And, there may have been an explanation of them, but the headline would be, candidate violates campaign finance law, and it would have been discussed or not. So I think you've lost that in the sense it's out there, but not everyone's, it's too fragmented. There's too many places to look now.
Let me just follow up on the turnout. Last year for the presidential election, the turnout, I believe, was close to 40%, around that range. Where we hear a lot that local elections, like we're having tonight, has a greater impact on the people within that community than whether you're voting for president or governor or Congress. But people tend to turn out more for those races. Is it because that where they're getting their information, be it on social media, be it on traditional news, that they recognize some of the names more?
You can't escape it.
Right.
They spend $1 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the mayor raised money, but I don't think he raised $1 billion. No, it's just,
But
there's so much coming at you. And let's
think-
face it, the elections since Donald Trump's been nominated, they're a whole different thing. I mean,
Right.
there's a certain entertainment quality to all he does. There's a certain factitiousness that's really affected people, polarized it on both sides. So, we'll see when he leaves the scene, what will the turnout be and how much. Although I do think it will remain high because presidential elections are
always do
higher,
well.
and they just spend so much money now. I mean, it's a
I know when we talk
year-round
about
industry.
so many of these problems, and it's so frustrating to think of how much money was spent on a quick little advertisement during the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Or during some of the national and networks. I wanted to think, too, about how the issues haven't changed. And in a way, maybe that's a little frustrating, but maybe it's also an example of how important these local elections are, right? When we were talking, Mayor Mitchell, so many years ago, 20 years ago, more, when you were running, we talked about potholes, we talked about the quality of schools, we talked about getting trash, clean water, and kids just feeling safe. Moms could let their kids go out and play. And really, if you think about it, those issues haven't really changed. So back to your point, Keith, when you were talking about these are really everyday issues that are impactful for people. That's what we think about every day. Am I safe to go outside? Is my mom safe? Where are my kids going to school? So it is troublesome that these everyday problems, good or bad, if we want to look at them, are not being addressed with a high turnout of people.
Well, what's interesting about the issues is I did, in preparing for this, went through articles, watched some of the debates,
Yes.
and I just jotted down on one page just a single word for the issues: school, crime,
Yeah.
and that type of thing. And they're always going to be there. Crime is a local issue, and that's always going to be a big issue. The number of police officers, the number of firefighters. Now, once again, when I started in the 80s, a big issue was the chief of police. There was a sense in the early 80s, mid 80s, there was a lack of leadership. The National League of Cities came in, and they recommended getting away from civil service.
Right.
38, almost 40 years later, the recommendation is go back to civil service.
And
Schools are
accreditations.
always an issue, and they always will be. I mean, it's just such a disproportionate part of local government now. I mean, the school budgets have just taken
School
off.
budgets.
The number of employees, while municipal employment has decreased pretty considerably, the number of employees in the school department, and just the importance of it. It's everything to children now, and that'll always be there.
Yeah.
And, nowadays you don't see it much here, but there is a bit of, at least nationally, a cultural side to that now that hadn't been in it. But, yeah, every issue I looked at, I mean, the
I have
waterfront,
to-
it's a different location on the waterfront.
Right.
It's not where the bounty's going to be. And it's, to be honest,
Digress.
it's pretty impressive what's been done down there.
Yeah.
And that's going to be beautiful. But
Yeah.
now there's a whole other spate of issues on the waterfront. And the waterfront's been, what a beautiful job. The waterfront,
Yeah,
the
it's
work
been
that's been
tedious
there.
to get through that traffic
Yeah.
down Duval Street, and every day feels a little bit
Yeah.
I talk about describing it as an alien landscape, right?
Yeah.
You go, hey, where am I going today? But it will be interesting how that goes. I want to see what maybe they want to plan to do for breakdown lanes. There's a really great area for walking and carriages and biking.
All right.
Yeah,
We're actually going to get some numbers. We're going to start getting some numbers. About 20 minutes after we have started today, we have numbers coming in soon from 4C. That is the Atrium and Government Center. And there are a couple of precincts there. And here we go. Let's start with the City Council race. This is how they look right now. Now, as you read them, the names on the left, those are the top 9. So those will be in white. And then on the right, rather, are those that are going to be in yellow. Those are the people outside of the top 9. So Cliff Ponte and Linda Pereira on top, each with 83 votes. Joe Camara is next with 77. Sean Kadim and Michelle Dion with 74. Right behind them, 1 vote each, is Michael Canuel and Andrew Raposo. Christopher Peckham with 66 votes. And Jonathan Lima with 57 votes. And then just outside the top 9, actually Paul Hart is actually tied for 9th with 57 votes, followed by Brad Kilby with 53. Ricky Tith, 52. Nathan Sylvia, 50. And Louis Mellum at 43. So again, not a very big precinct, but we're underway, I guess, with our numbers tonight.
So here's the first, too, isn't it?
Here's the school committee. Incumbent Kevin Aguiar on top with 106 votes, followed by incumbent Tom Corey with 82. Anna Riley is third with 74. Chanel Stewart at 69. Colin Dias with 60. John Sylvia with 58. Those are the top 6 in the school committee in Precinct 4C. The final 4 candidates, Emmanuel Monis with 49 votes, Mark Mollicone with 47, Randy Dudek with 42, and Shiv Thakur with 28. And here's the mayor's numbers from Government Center. Gabriel Boomer Amaral with 91 votes, and Mayor Coogan with 77. We're going to go on now to our next precinct. It's going to be 9B. That is the Calvary Temple Assembly of God. In the city council race, Michael Canuel, newcomer, with 243 votes. Brad Kilby in second with 239 votes, followed by Cliff Ponte with 233. Paul Hart with 225 in fourth. Sean Kadim in fifth at 224 votes. Andrew Raposo in sixth place with 205 votes. Christopher Peckham, 199 votes. At seventh place, Joseph Camara in eighth, 196 votes. Linda Pereira, 184 votes. And then the final 5 candidates, Ricky Tith, 181. Louis Mellum and Michelle Dion, 157 votes. We have Linda Pereira there twice. We may want to have a double check on that in the back room. And Louis Mellum with 114 votes. So we'll have to make some corrections there. In the school committee, Kevin Aguiar and Tom Corey on top, 258 votes for Mr. Aguiar, 257, 1 vote lower for Mr. Corey. Anna Riley in third, 236 votes. Colin Dias, fourth, 205 votes. Chanel Stewart, 178. And Emmanuel Monis in sixth at 161. John Sylvia is in seventh, 134. Mark Mollicone, eighth, 116. Randy Dudek, ninth, 103. And Shiv Thakur at 67. And in the race for mayor, Mayor Coogan winning this precinct by 50 votes over Boomer Amaral, 263 to 213. Thoughts thus far?
That's close, is my first thought. Take those
It
2
is,
precincts,
yeah,
huh?
closer than in. It's funny how the council and committee vary from the center of the city
Right,
to
to
the north.
the north
over
end,
to that
absolutely.
part. But, wow.
All
what
right,
a
I think we
change.
may have some more numbers coming in. This is 7B. That is also at Government Center. Again, in the race for City Council, Michael Canuel, the newcomer, doing very well, 115 votes. Andrew Raposo, second at 97. Cliff Ponte in third with 95 votes. Linda Pereira in fourth with 94, followed by Sean Kadim with 90 in fifth spot. Paul Hart is sixth at 87 votes. 1 vote behind him in seventh is Christopher Peckham. Ricky Tith in eighth place at 82 votes, tied with Brad Kilby, also with 82 votes. The final 5 candidates on the right, Nathan Sylvia with 75 votes, Jonathan Lima 72, Joe Camara 71, Michelle Dion 69, and Louis Mellum at 47. School Committee, Tom Corey on top here at the Government Center 7B precinct with 111 votes. Kevin Aguiar next with 108. Anna Riley in third, 105. That's sort of been the theme thus far. Colin Dias in fourth with 91 votes. Chanel Stewart at 83 votes, and John Sylvia with 72. Emmanuel Monis in seventh with 65 votes. Mark Mollicone with 60 votes. Randy Dudek with 47, and Shiv Thakur with 32. And in the mayor's race again at Government Center, the second precinct there, Gabriel Boomer Amaral doing well, beating Mayor Coogan 116 to 109 votes. Very interesting. All right, moving on. We're going to move right along. We're getting them hot and heavy here. Precinct 3A, which is at Good Shepherd Church in the South End. City councilors, Cliff Ponte on top, 181 votes. Michael Canuel in second, 175. Sean Kadim in third, 165 votes. Andrew Raposo, fourth with 159 votes. Linda Pereira, fifth with 152 votes. Christopher Peckham in sixth with 151 votes. Michelle Dion with 149 votes is in seventh. Nathan Sylvia doing well in eighth place, 142 votes. And Paul Hart, 124 votes. On the other side of the ledger, Joe Camara is 10th with 119 votes. Brad Kilby, 117. Ricky Tith, 114. Jonathan Lima, 107. And Louis Mellon with 97. School Committee, Kevin Aguiar on top, 197 votes. Tom Corey in second, 177 votes. Anna Riley in third, 158 votes. 1 vote behind in fourth is Chanel Stewart, 157 votes. Colin Dias, fifth with 144 votes, and John Sylvia in fifth with 121 votes. Then Emmanuel Monis has 89, Mark Mollicone 88. Again, we have a little issue here. Shiv Kathur.
Mr. Dudek is in there.
Mr. Dudek, I would say, was probably with the 67 votes, and then Shiv Thakur with 25. And in this also,
Wow. Close.
Gabriel Amaral doing well, 166 votes, 3 votes better than Mayor Coogan. All right, so
Okay. Yeah.
interesting, some early numbers there. And
Well, we're a little speechless because at first they came fast and furious, like you said.
And now we're in a lull.
And now we're just a tiny little bit of a lull, but also those are pretty close numbers,
Absolutely.
I think. And it's funny how in some areas they've been very kind to our incumbents, and in other areas, not so kind to our incumbents. In the atrium over at City Council, they were not too kind to our incumbents, excuse me. So it's interesting, too, to see where Mr. Amaral and Mr. Coogan came down. Mayor Coogan, 50 votes separating in one race. Well,
I did get some results from HC someone sent
yeah,
me. And
HC.
Paul Coogan, 372, and Mr. Amaral, 248. So that's more of a spread than the
Okay,
others.
more of a spread
And
over.
We're actually going to be
You got
getting.
those?
We're actually
So
going to
that
get
one
those.
is at
Then I'll hold off.
BCC,
Yeah,
so
so
we'll
that-
get off to that one.
There's a student there that will be getting those to us eventually
But,
at that time.
Well, let's talk about on October 20th, right? The city was so shocked to learn of the knife attack on our former mayor, Will Flanagan. He was stabbed at least 5 times about the face and about the neck. It happened just 500 feet from his business on Hartwell Street, which is the Cosmopolitan Dispensary. Flanagan's alleged attacker is a 31-year-old man, some said homeless, described as having a very long arrest record by authorities, and a long history, too, of mental illness. Yesterday, I called Mayor Flanagan, and we remembered the many times that I had interviewed him, not only during his campaigns, but also during his years as mayor. And during our conversation, I could hear his 2 daughters in the background giggling.
Well, we've told him Dad was in an accident. We didn't really get into too specific of what type of accident. I believe because of their young age, 5 and 4, they believe it was a car that might have hit Dad. So, as someday when they're older, they'll learn about it, or I'll talk to them about it. But right now we're doing our best just to shield them from any undue stress. I called 911, and the seniors who live at the Cumsha Mill definitely played a role in life-saving measures. They convinced me to stay with them because I was in such a state of confusion. I was probably going to walk back to my business because that was a safe place for me. But the seniors convinced me to stay with them, to take out my phone and dial 911, and I listened to them. All of the thank yous, the prayers from across the city and from beyond, from people who I knew to strangers, really moved me to tears, Pam. When I opened up my social media on my phone for the first time after waking up on a ventilator and being somewhat alert, I started crying because, it just, it really moved me. My mind is strong. My heart is strong. I don't foresee any PTSD. But who knows? I can't really. I'm not a professional. I can't comment on that. But it doesn't make me more aware of my surroundings. It does, and I hope people learn from this event. Whether it is being more surreal, more aware of your surroundings, or just taking a closer look at the mental health crisis happening in America.
And Mayor Will went on to tell me that his business is going off without a hitch. He says his employees are like family, so that's a good thing. He even has some new customers who said they kind of maybe got the sympathy vote a little bit. But I always enjoyed working alongside Mayor Flanagan. Sadly, we also know that he was so badly injured, he's learning again to swallow, nearly lost his eyesight. In one area. So he's got a long road to go, but he said he has an amazing team, amazing family, so many friends. And I know he'd always been religious, God bless America at the end of the speeches, but now he really does feel like there's a higher power up there that saved him for something. It's curious because you go on social media too, and there are people saying, run again, please, Mayor Will. Just a beloved figure.
He's responded courageously, that's for sure.
Oh,
He
boy,
really has. And
No
making
doubt
it
about
public like this adds a lot to it, because there is a mental health crisis. I think it's something people fear is, could be attacked at some point. And he's handled it very well. Texted him today. He gave me his predictions, which I will only reveal if they're accurate.
Don't want to throw him under the bus in case,
I like to do show. May I do show and tell first? Before
Sure, absolutely.
No. I think we should probably do the numbers first.
All right, let's
Go
get some
ahead.
more numbers. All right, we'll get
and
to
tell
it.
next.
We'll get to it. All right, let's get to, I believe, 9C, which we've done before. No, we had 9B before. This is 9C at the Calvary Temple of God. Again, City Council, Cliff Ponte doing very well, 197 votes. Michael Canuel, very strong in second place, 182 votes. Sean Gadim, third with 166, followed by Christopher Peckham, 162. Andrew Raposo in fifth, 160 votes, followed by Linda Pereira with 146. Paul Hart and Joe Camara each with 140 votes, and Michelle Dion, 137. Final five in that precinct, Brad Kilby, just outside the top 9 in 10th with 137 votes. Jonathan Lima, 128 votes. Ricky Tith, 127. Nathan Sylvia, 124. And Louis Mellum with 99. School Committee, Thomas Corey doing well in 9C with 171 votes. Colin Dias as well doing well there with 160 votes. Anna Riley, 157 votes. Chanel Stewart is fourth with 150. Emmanuel Monis is next with 119. And then John Sylvia with 118 votes. Mark Mollicone is next with 107 votes. Then incumbent Kevin Aguiar with 105. Randy Dudek with 95, and then Shiv Thakur with 57. And in the race for mayor doing a little better here, winning 9C, 210 votes to Gabriel Boomer Amaral's 176.
Really not a big turnout there.
No,
It's
not
usually-
for that precinct.
Nope,
That's,
not for that
usually
precinct.
pretty heavy.
I mean, Mayor, we've heard that some of the candidates, some of the incumbents chose not even to have signs printed, chose not to really do much campaigning at all. I wanted to say just what came to my house. Mayor Coogan's flyer came to my house. Mr. Monis's school committee flyer came to my house, which I lifeguard with 2 of his children, so that makes me feel a little old, but wonderful, wonderful twins here. And then the only gentleman who visited or lady was Mr. Canuel. Dropped off, came in, talked
And it's
about his
showing
campaign.
in the results.
I was just going to say,
And
it's really showing.
yes, that's why I'm asking
and-
is
Yeah. Well,
how
well, I
much? I
think
mean,
that
you
combined
know.
with the fact that someone like Mr. Canuel has been everywhere.
he has been everywhere. And this started even way like in the spring and the summer when we had events out throughout the city in the summer. Mr. Canuel was there, often with his 3 boys and his wife. The kids were holding signs on the weekends. It really made for just cute video and photos. You know, he talked about being an Eagle Scout and about his management qualities and how that will help him as well. So
Yeah.
I think you're right. In that situation,
Yep.
the amount of time that Mr. Canuel's put in is definitely reflective of those
so
numbers
far,
for
it's
a
definitely
newcomer.
paying off. We get some more numbers again from the North End, 9A again at Bristol Community College. Here's the city council numbers as we have them. Cliff Ponte on top, 425 votes, followed by Michael Canuel, very strong, second place, 402 votes. Sean Kadim is next with 381, followed by a tie for fourth with Andrew Raposo and Paul Hart, each getting 363 votes. Brad Kilby is next with 328 votes, followed by Linda Pereira, 319 votes, Christopher Peckham, 306, and then Joe Camara with 305. Michelle Dion is in 10th spot at Bristol Community College 9A, 258 votes, followed by Jonathan Lima with 236, Ricky Tith, 216, Nathan Sylvia, 208, and Louis Mellum, 175. School Committee, Tom Corey doing very well on top, 427 votes, followed by Kevin Aguiar with 393. Then Anna Riley is third, 381 votes. Colin Dias is next with 342 votes. And again, we may want to double check some of these names. We have Emmanuel Monis, unfortunately, there twice, 272 votes. Who that would be? I'm trying to think quickly off the top of my head. Could be Chanel Stewart.
Chanel.
Maybe is one of those other. She's
Good,
been doing
Evan.
well.
Thank you.
253 votes. Mark Mollicone is in 7th with 233 votes, followed by John Sylvia with 204, Randy Dudek 133, and then Shiv Thakur with 67. And in the race for mayor, Mayor Coogan winning by 80 votes here in this precinct, 436 votes to Gabriel Boomer Amaral's 356. Now, Mayor Mitchell mentioned 8C. We have those in right now, again, also from Bristol Community College. City Council race, Michael Canuel doing well, 377 votes, followed by Andrew Raposo with 338. Sean Kadim, third, 291, tied with Cliff Ponte, also 291 votes. Linda Pereira is fifth with 285 votes, followed by Paul Hart with 261 votes. Joe Camara next with 245. Brad Kilby in 8th, 237 votes, and Christopher Peckham, 224 votes. Michelle Dion is in 10th with 201 votes, followed by Ricky Tith, 195 votes, Jonathan Lima, 183 votes, Nathan Sylvia, 181, and then Louis Mellum with 160. School Committee, we're seeing a sort of a trend here a little bit in terms of the numbers. Tom Corey on top with 349 votes, followed by Kevin Aguiar with 305 votes. Anna Riley is next with 299. And then Chanel Stewart and Colin Dias are tied with 247 votes each for fourth place. Emmanuel Monis is in sixth with 214 votes. And John Sylvia is next with 165 votes. I will say that probably Mr. Mollicone is next with 159 votes, followed by Randy Dudek with 99 votes, and then Shiv Thakur with 63.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then also at Precinct 8C in the race for mayor, strong showing here for Mayor Coogan, 372 votes to Gabriel Boomer Amaral's 248. That's almost 130 vote difference there.
All right. Are we going to Our Lady of Light Band Club here?
Is Coogan going to speak?
Oh.
So we're waiting to find out
Well,
what's
maybe
happening.
we can take a look at some video, maybe
Yeah,
at least from
maybe we can
Our
see what's
Lady of
happening
Light
there
Band
right
Club.
now. If we can take the live shot
What a live shot.
from Our Lady of Light Band. There you go. People
Yeah,
still
a little quiet.
mingling,
Yeah, coming in.
having a few drinks, and waiting for the mayor to speak later on. And then as Gabriel Boomer Amaral's location at Primo on Water Street. Again, good turnout, waiting for all the numbers to come in and seeing how things shake out as we get on later in the evening.
Well, as we look at a new campaign season and kind of a new fresh face with 3 school committee members deciding not to run again, it was funny. I saw a lot of, think of a better word, co-campaigning, I don't know, camaraderie. You know, Kevin Aguirre was holding a sign today for Anna Riley. So it was kind of, you know.
In the same race, too, yeah.
Exactly, in the same race. So so that part was funny. I think Mr. Aguirre, again, I speak of, I think, maybe felt he had a pretty good, was going to have a good showing tonight. So why not stick his support behind a newbie and help them get over the edge. But there was a lot of group campaigning, and that was interesting to me. I don't remember that. I remember like you guys just being more in your corner on the President Avenue used to be packed, and everyone would pick different sides. Not these weekends, these past few weekends. It's just been a mix and people getting along. So I hope that will be representative of what we can see going forward. Hey, we'll see. We do have some great video from today while we have a Slack, I guess, for a moment while we wait for some numbers to come in. If we want to go to it. Because from the south end to the north end, at Cuss Middle Precincts 3C and 3A, we saw just 2 teens outside holding signs for school committee candidate Chanel Stewart. People were leaving, reported they had no lines and no waiting. It was a little blustery, as you can see. At Laterno Elementary, we did see sign holders for City Council candidate Jonathan Lima and incumbent Linda Pereira. And coincidentally, Linda stopped by as we were there getting some video and offered soup to the sign holders and to me as well. The city's veteran service van delivered voters to polling places across the city, and the assignments came directly from people who made transportation requests through the Election Commission office. Bristol Community College is the largest, and according to our election commissioner, Ryan Lyons, the most active. There is that van. And so here you see, like I was talking about at BCC, kind of, you know, we got signs for Riley and Tiff and all out. Precincts at BCC are 8B, 8C, and 9A. It's also the only location where classes were still in schedule. So parking was tight. I have to keep wondering about, I did speak with Judy St. Hilaire, the mayor's wife. She felt confident, happy. Anna Riley was also over at BCC and said she was just dropping her son off to go hold signs at another location. So, so that was fun. But as you saw, there wasn't a lot of activity at the polls as far as the sign holders. Remember, you used to be walking in and people would hand out nail files or keychains or something to kind of give you that reminder. People wearing T-shirts and hats, and you know, I mean, I know all of these things are expensive, but they also will win you that vote potentially because we can see with Mr. Canuel doing so well.
There's no question. People want to meet you.
Yeah.
The school committee and the council are multi-vote races, so I don't know that we held signs as much together, but I know one thing that always struck me when I first ran, Leo Pelletier, who when I ran first was an 8th, 9th, got knocked out at one point. And I remember after the primary, I'd finished, I think, ahead of Leo, and I was having a fundraiser, and Leo, who was in catering at the time and had the restaurant, gave me all his catering equipment and let me put it on. And, you know, we've had a great relationship, and that was the start of it. I mean,
I heard he looks
He's
wonderful.
done great.
My
He says he
coworker
feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, he's lost a lot of weight.
Lost a lot of weight. He had surgery,
yeah.
and
No, he's
they were
doing great.
traveling. He
Yeah.
and Debbie, and hey, God bless him, right? Enjoy those
No
retirement
more stressful
years.
meetings.
And those meetings just seem to be getting longer and longer,
Oh, and
right?
then you get out late, you want to eat. It's not a good, it's a
Yeah, and it's
nocturnal lifestyle.
And now you can watch it from home, so we can still
Yeah.
get some of the, you know, some of the action of the meetings.
Get
but
the
it's like-
action, but eat the healthy food. You're
That's
not
right.
going out after for, you know, a quick
That's right.
burger bite to eat.
That's
But
right.
I mean, do you ever miss those days? I know you're a Bristol County Commissioner. You're so busy all the time. You're still an attorney.
Yeah, but I do. I mean, we had Lizzie's, which was,
Lizzie's,
to me, that was the
You
great.
could walk right over.
That was the great compromiser. No matter how bad a meeting got, no matter how mad you got at someone, you know, not everyone went every night, but usually 4 or 6, and it varied. And no matter what was said, you know, you went there, you had a drink or two, talked about things, and it didn't seem as bad. But yeah, I think the closing of Lizzie contributed to polarization.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. Well, let's see. We've got the Lizzie Coffee Shop
Yeah.
there.
Well, there's plenty of other places. if,
There are.
if you wanna go.
I
But it was
know.
very convenient to walk across the street.
I missed the cafeteria at Government Center too. That was
more business was
wonderful.
done there in the mornings. People don't
Yes,
appreciate it,
yes.
but
Yeah.
the departments would meet there informally, department heads, and you could go in there and yeah, it was
Mm-hmm.
a great place. And
For a while there, it was
Yeah.
run by a gentleman who was sight impaired.
Yeah, it
So
was-
that he was amazing.
Yeah.
Had a good job. Had a great business. Keeping people employed, and like you said, it was just a quick way to stop and
no, it was, and
help the local economy.
We talked about that when it closed. That there
Yeah.
were just a lot that had to be done in the city. Different departments would meet on the same issue, and that where you could do it during the day, but and that's the thing. All these knocks about public employees. Most of them are doing jobs that they care about, they work hard at, and a lot of them require expertise. There are certain things. The water department, not anyone can just walk in there and do that. And a lot of the other departments.
BCC now has a course you can take on water technology
Yeah.
and
Blue,
water.
yeah, they have
Yeah.
called the Blue Center.
Yeah, I mean they're just amazing to me, and not just that. You can go and you can learn how to play in a casino, right? How to be a poker dealer. I think that's one of the treasures when people ask about the treasures of Fall River. BCC is one of them. Maybe for an older learner, for a student who just is looking to kind of get their feet wet in a career and make a good paycheck right out of the bat, out of high school. You can work while you take classes, but that's my pitch for BCC. And
Well,
we'll
you're
get
a
back
recent
to-
graduate too.
I'm
Don't-
a
come on,
graduate.
don't-
Hey, I just finished last year.
There you go.
EKG, right? Cardiac technology. Well, just one day after the random attack on Mayor Flanagan, Keith Tebow hosted a mayoral debate, and again, I was a panelist. The first question came from our fellow media collaborator, Fall River reporter, and of course, it referenced crime statistics.
My opponent he says things, but he has no numbers to back him up. We are now keeping our police officers in. We are losing one that's going to Florida because of a family situation, but our retention rate has been going up steadily over the last 3 or 4 months. To that end, with the equipment we have now, with the guys we're bringing in, I think we will have a full complement. Today, I received a letter from the Police Association endorsing me for mayor. It's very special for me, and it's humbling that they put their faith in me because they know I work closely with the police. When we're out walking through homeless camps and the police are there or there's a crime scene, I try to be there. I don't go to all of them. I don't do that. But I get around and I make sure I keep an eye on things, and I work closely with these guys, whether it's in the schools, on the streets, or while I watch and observe what they're doing on investigations. We have a good police force.
Yeah, murders might be down, but the attempted murders are up, clearly. So that's not the case. The city is not safe. We can talk about the funding all we want. Our police department has been fully funded. It's an issue within as far as not keeping and retaining our police officers. Our experienced police officers are leaving in droves. Our newer police officers aren't lasting very long because they're being worn out because of the constant overtime, and they can't get the job done. They just can't do it. They are working day and night, literally, and we are breaking our police officers. As you can see, we have great police officers, great detectives, and they do an amazing job. We can't keep wearing them out and burning them out without being able to retain more police officers to give them the breaks that they need to be at the best of their game and the best of their abilities. We are not safe.
Okay, so we are not safe. That was the end quote from Mr. Amaral during the debate on his thoughts on crime. The police union endorsed Mayor Coogan. The firefighters union endorsed Sean Kadim, Michael Canuel, Michelle Dion, Paul Hart, Brad Kilme, Christopher Peckham, Cliff Pont, Andrew Raposo, and Ricky Tiff. How important are these endorsements, do you think, Mayor? We even had former Mayor Sam Sutter endorsing Ricky Tiff. So his one candidate. How important are
It
they?
helps to an extent. I think the unions are helpful if they come with money and, they help you do drops, things like that. They inform their membership. So yeah, there's some help. Individual ones, I think they cut both ways. No matter who you are, certain people. I think for a race like council are always helpful because it lends some credence to you, particularly someone newer. So. it
And
is.
then the FREA endorsements for city council were Michael Canuel, Paul Hart, Brad Kilby, Cliff Pond, and Andrew Raposo. In school committee, they went with Randy Dudek, Tom Corey, Chanel Stewart, and Mark Malacone.
All right, we actually have some more numbers we're
good.
going to display from 4A. That's at the Cuss Middle School. And here we are in the race for City Council. Michael Canuel on top, 101 votes. Christopher Peckham, second with 96, followed by Cliff Ponte with 96. Sean Gadim, fourth with 89. Andrew Raposo and Michelle Dion with 86 votes apiece. Ricky Tiff is next with 80 votes, followed by Linda Pereira with 76, and Nathan Sylvia with 74. Just outside the top 9, Paul Hart and Joe Camara each have 69 votes in 4A, followed by Jonathan Lima, Louis Mellum, and Brad Kilby at 59 votes. In the race for school committee, Kevin Aguiar in first place, 104 votes, followed by Colin Dias with 83, Emmanuel Moniz with 80, Anna Riley also with 80, Chanel Stewart fifth with 77, and then Tom Corey sixth at 73. Just outside in number 7 is John Sylvia with 67 votes, followed by 51 votes for Mark Malacone, 37 votes for Randy Dudek, and 28 votes for Shiv Thakur. And in the race for mayor, Boomer Amaral winning precinct 4A, 121 votes to Mayor Coogan's 69. And this is what we have thus far in terms of a cumulative vote with 11 precincts that we have reporting to us thus far. In the race for mayor, Paul Coogan on top, 2,305 votes to Boomer Amaral's 2,125 votes. Still a very, very tight race, but the mayor on top. And that's it for mayor in terms of the cumulative vote. So 305 to 125 is, less than 200 votes there.
Very
right?
close.
Yeah.
Very close.
Different than the primary, that's for sure.
Right.
And, almost as many votes in as the primary. So
Right.
it's a sampling. We've had very little from the south end, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. You've got Laterno and another Cuss precinct, and then, a number of other, Blessed Trinity, Candeas. So,
Yeah, it seems
Still
like
quite a vote.
Mr. Amaral seems to be doing well in the south end of the city
yeah.
Yes.
thus far.
And there were signs up in the north end as well. It was quite a mix, to say the least, with the signs that were out. I know that both gentlemen, Mr. Amaral and Mayor Coogan, they talked about not coming from this privileged background, I guess, right? Mayor Coogan was one of 11. I love the story when he tells me about Aerosmith playing at the park, and he was there watching them live. Mr. Amaral told me about growing up in need, as a child in need. He said his parents did not always do what was right, so I think both gentlemen should be credited for what they've done to pull themselves up to now be representative. And Mr. Amaral's raising 6 kids. Mr. Coogan's been a lifetime educator. It's clear that they are invested in the city. And their thoughts on the waterfront, while different, they both do recognize how critically important it is that we do get this waterfront right. Maybe in different ways. They are concerned, too, with affordable housing and how much of Section 8 housing. It was Mayor Coogan who mentioned that Fall River has a long wait for housing. But guess what? That's a statewide problem. So I don't think it's anything we can particularly pin on any of his leadership. And Mr. Amaral agreed, too, that with sometimes housing going in from folks that are waiting from out of state, we're actually overlooking our residents that are here in Fall River. And the homeless issue, just open citizens' input at City Council has consistently been people who live near Kennedy Park, who are tired. We talked about this in the debate as well, Keith. One gentleman putting a sign up, I'm going to beat you up if you come into my yard and steal things, in reference to homeless people that have been vandalizing and taking things from his property. And I really don't know the answer to that problem with the homelessness. I don't know if anyone does, but it seems like that area is cleaned up. The residents breathe a sigh of relief, knowing still that it was the tax dollars that paid for that cleanup. We have officers come off the street so that they can assist with the cleanup. Right, we're sitting here talking about crime when we have officers checking where these people's backgrounds come from. And it seems like it just exploded. Although during one of the debates, Christopher Peckham said back in 2020 he was predicting this, and he told us in 2020, I just see this emergence of homelessness is going to be an explosive issue within the next generation. And here we are 5 years later, not just Fall River again. You know, it doesn't matter what city you go in, they're dealing with this population. I think we might have a few numbers back.
We're just waiting. We may be getting some more in.
Okay.
We're waiting for a little bit from a direction of what's happening behind the scenes here. And we're going to be getting some more numbers.
Still more notes. You know, I like my notes because I like to be the color commentary. But, you know, Mr. Amaral twice he's run for city council. He says he likes to consistently talk about common sense leadership. He wants an immediate audit. I thought that his campaign ad with his 6 kids, one was at work, I made that clear, was really cute. You know, going through the park and just being a concerned dad. And his campaign manager was Ollie, his daughter. He was a National Guard recruiter since 2005. He's been a coach. He's been a leader. He wants to keep his circle small and says he watches who he trusts. He wants to see some tax breaks and zoning changes go back to the homeowners, citing that just 30% of our population here in Fall River are the ones who pay real estate taxes. He says he sees the school department being really top-heavy, and he wants to see fewer admins and more teachers. Mayor Coogan, like you said, Mayor, he has a record to run on. So, of course, he's talking about the positives that went on with the past 6 years. He was endorsed by Carlos Caesar, and they had a couple of pretty good exchanges during some of the debates, but Mr. Caesar came out and ended up endorsing Mayor Coogan, who's held office since January of 2016, so running for his 4th term here. He believes that all departments across the city deserve equal access. He says it's very difficult to prioritize. He says the waterfront is already vibrant and can only get better. He's still building to it. Has said Fall River had potential. I remember him saying that even as an educator at Durfee. He tries to avoid negative comments. He's dedicated, focused, and although it's interesting that and unique that Fall River has the chair of their school committee be mayor, he enjoys that part. He says it keeps him connected with the students, with the parents, and with the employees. He's spent 27 years in education, 3 terms on school committee, and said again and again, quote, Fall River is not failing. I think we have 8B here.
Yep, we'll get some more numbers coming in. 8B, this is also at Bristol Community College in the far north end. Race for City Council, Michael Canuel on top, 294 votes. Cliff Ponte next with 281. Paul Hart in third, 280 votes, followed by Sean Kadim with 274 votes. Andrew Raposo with 261 votes. Brad Kilby, 259 votes. Linda Pereira is next with 229 votes. Joseph Camara in 8th, 214 votes. And Michelle Dion, 209 votes. In 10th is Ricky Tith, 193 votes, followed by Christopher Peckham, 191 votes. Nathan Sylvia, 160 votes. Jonathan Lima, 159. Louis Mellum, 107. School Committee, Kevin Aguiar, incumbent on top, 297 votes, followed by Tom Corey, 287 votes. Anna Riley in third, 282 votes. Colin Dias in fourth, 258 votes. Chanel Stewart, again, continues to do well, in fifth, 199 votes. Emmanuel Moniz in sixth, 195 votes. Mark Molicone next with 147 votes, followed by John Sylvia with 125 votes. Randy Dudek, 90 votes, and Shiv Thakur with 59. And the mayor's race, the mayor winning here by 116 votes, 340 votes for Mayor Coogan, with Gabriel Boomer Amaral, 224 votes. So again, the mayor doing better in the north end.
Okay, so we've got 12, just about nearly half in. 11.
Right.
I have 27.
So
Okay.
I don't know if they wanted me, I have some numbers for 3B. We do not have the graphics for this, I'm sorry to say, but I will give you the numbers as we have them to us. This is 3B, Precinct 3B at the Good Shepherd Church. In the race for mayor, Gabriel Boomer Amaral doing very well here, 194 votes to Mayor Coogan's 136 votes. In the school committee race, Kevin Aguiar, again doing well on top with 178 votes. In second place is Anna Riley with 151 votes, followed by, tied with Colin Dias for second with 151 votes. Up next is Tom Corey in fourth with 147 votes, followed by Chanel Stewart in fifth with 144 votes. John Sylvia in sixth with 115 votes. Then it's Mark Mollicone with 101 votes. Then after that, we have Randy Dudek with 57 votes, and then Shiv Thakur with 44 votes. In the race for City Council, again, Michael Canuel doing well, tops Precinct 3B with 180 votes. In second place is Cliff Ponte with 172 votes in 3B. Christopher Peckham is third in 3B with 158 votes, followed by Michelle Dion in fourth with 151 votes. Sean Kadim is fifth with 150 votes. In sixth place is Andrew Raposo with 136 votes. Seventh goes to Linda Pereira with 125 votes. Eighth goes to Jonathan Lima and Nathan Sylvia, each with 123 votes. Up next would be Paul Hart with 114 votes, Joseph Camaro with 109 votes, Brad Kilby with 107 votes, and Louis Mellum in 3B with 102 votes. All right, back to our screens here in the studio. 3C, Cuss Middle School. City Council, Michael Canuel, first place, 231 votes. Cliff Ponte in second with 225 votes. Andrew Raposo finishing third in 3C with 218 votes. Christopher Peckham up next with 207 votes, followed by Sean Kadim with 205 votes. Linda Pereira, 195 votes. Paul Hart next with 175 votes. Joseph Camara in eighth with 174 votes, followed by Ricky Tiff in ninth place, 169 votes. 10th place, Brad Kilby, 159 votes. Nathan Sylvia up next with 156 votes. Jonathan Lima and Michelle Dion tied with 149 votes. And then Louis Mellum in last place with 129 votes. School Committee, Kevin Aguiar, incumbent on top, 243 votes. Chanel Stewart and Tom Corey tied for second with 206 votes. Colin Dias is next with 183 votes. Anna Riley, fifth in 3C with 172 votes. John Sylvia in sixth with 136. Just outside the top six is Emmanuel Monis with 130 votes, followed by Mark Mollicone with 125 votes, Randy Dudek with 90 votes, and Shiv Thakur with 57. And in the race for mayor there, Gabriel Boomer Amaral, a win there for Mr. Amaral, 231 votes to Mayor Coogan's 207 votes. That is a 24-vote margin in 3C. So, anything you can glean there? I think we're seeing a pattern. The school committee is going to be interesting because we've seen in that sixth place vote,
Yeah.
I think it looks like, you know, the incumbents will do well. Kevin Aguiar, Tom Corey, Colin Dias. Anna Riley, I think, is doing well as well, doing well. Chanel Stewart,
Chanel
I
is
think, will
doing
probably
well.
be
Yeah.
there. And six, we've seen Emmanuel Monis
And
and John Sylvia
back and forth.
back and forth.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to
Very
see when
close,
all
too.
27 come in, how that shakes out.
Who's done incredibly well is Mr. Canuel.
Yeah.
Consistently across the city.
Absolutely.
Been either 1, 2, or 3,
Yeah.
I believe, in the precincts we've reported.
Yeah, and generally
Yep.
won. I
Right.
mean, it's really shows a lot of hard work and the willingness of people to accept a candidate who works hard, brings credibility, and presents themselves well.
Final numbers.
And
We are getting the final numbers. Okay, apparently the final numbers have come in. This is it. This is the final count. Unofficial results in the race for City Council. Cliff Ponte on top, 5,856 votes. Newcomer Michael Canuel finishing second, 5,729 votes. Sean Kadim is next in third, 5,385 votes. Andrew Raposo is next, 5,288 votes. Linda Pereira, fifth, 4,951 votes. Christopher Peckham will be back on the City Council with 4,654 votes, finishing 6th. Paul Hart is 7th, 4,558 votes. Joe Camara is 8th, 4,478 votes. And Michelle Dion is in 9th, 4,381. Now in 10th, Brad Kilby, incumbent, looks like he's a little short tonight, 4,314 votes. The appointed incumbent, Ricky Tith, looks like he's outside the top 9 as well, finishing 11th with 3,945 votes. Nathan Sylvia next, 3,780 votes. Jonathan Lima, 3,676 votes. And Louis Mellon, 3,110 votes. So it looks like we'll have 2 new members of the Fall River City Council in January. School committee vote. Let's take a look at this. Incumbents doing well. Kevin Aguirre on top, 6,335 votes. Tom Corey in second, 5,628 votes. Newcomer Anna Riley is in third, 5,277 votes, followed by incumbent Colin Dias, 4,905 votes. Chanel Stewart, a newcomer to the school committee rather, in fifth place, 4,375 votes. And it looks like Emmanuel Monis will finish in sixth place, 3,645 votes. A couple hundred votes behind in seventh place is John Sylvia, 3,411 votes. Mark Mollico next, 3,006 votes. Randy Dudek, 2,087 votes. And Shiv Thakur, 1,386. And in the race for mayor, wow, what a tight race.
Wow.
Mayor Coogan by just a little over 200 votes. Mayor Coogan, at this point, looks like he'll be reelected for a fourth term. 5,841 votes. The Gabriel Boomer Amarols, 5,616. Mayor Mitchell.
Very close.
Extremely close.
Yeah.
Is
Until
it,
an election's held, huh? You never know.
Is this
Yeah.
recount worthy in this day and age, the way the counting goes
I'm not sure.
electronically?
I'm assuming there's still some ballots to
There
be
may be some,
counted,
right,
and,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
you'll see. And then it'd be up to Mr. Emerald. Not sure the rule, what the percentage is, where you get it automatically and then have to ask for it. But, yeah, it's certainly very close out of, 11,400, almost 500 ballots.
That's what you have?
25. Well, when you add the mayor's vote.
Right, I'm
Just-
sure there's
just
about
the mayor.
11.
So again, that's around 19-20%,
Yeah.
just those votes alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
And
you
Brian
end up
Lyons
with that.
had expected
and,
20%.
right.
Yeah,
So-
so it's
Which is
very
similar to 2
close.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's within 2% anyways, just about, so.
And in the school committee
close.
race, we've got a longtime incumbent. Looks like he's going to be outside looking in Brad Kilby.
Yeah.
And Ricky Tith,
Yeah,
unfortunately, just
Ricky
got
Tith.
appointed
Yeah.
in June, and looks like it's going to be a short run for Mr. Tith. And we've got 2 newcomers, Christopher Peckham back on
Well, he's
the
back
city
on.
council,
Yeah.
and then Michael Canuel again finishing a very strong second tonight.
Yeah.
Very strong second.
No. The
Well,
mayor's race is a surprise, really is. And,
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, we have the
Mr. Emerald
results
ran a
going
good campaign.
back even to 2017. Derek Viveris, Brad Kilby. So,
And in the school
Camara,
committee race,
Michelle
the
Dion.
3 newcomers are going to be Anna Riley, Chanel Stewart, and Emmanuel Monis.
Yeah.
So those are the three right now, the 3 newcomers on the school committee. Interesting, very interesting night thus far. We're
Yeah.
still waiting to hear from the 2 mayoral candidates. When we do, we'll go to them live, depending on who's first, and we'll be getting those remarks from you. What we may want to do right now, and there's a look right now at Our Lady of Light Band Hall on Quarry Street. And
The mayor's
you
wife is
see the
there?
mayor's
Oh,
wife
yeah.
there in the lobby on the right side of the screen.
looks like some celebrating over
and
there.
there is the Amaral headquarters at Primo on Water Street. And it seems like the people have been in the same spots. Mr. Amaral's right there in the middle with the white shirt.
Yeah, he's on his
he's
phone
been
looking.
in that spot
Yeah.
every time we've
Yeah.
checked in, and still waiting to see. And as you can see, right there, the difference is 225 votes, if my math is correct, between Mayor Coogan and Mr. Amaral. So interesting, 225.
Yeah, and it really became a north end, south end race.
Yeah,
It'd be
absolutely.
interesting to see the turnouts, in the 2 sections. Typically, the north end's a little higher turnout
Right.
than the south end, and it doesn't work out equally. The population is heavier in the north end, too. So,
Right.
and then you got the center of the city that,
So,
meshes a little
so
differently, the vote.
if you're either candidate, let's ask you first about Mayor Coogan, right? He did fairly well. He was the top vote getter. He got 49% in the preliminary. Obviously, that doesn't translate. We've seen many elections where someone is the top of the ticket in the preliminary and then doesn't win the general election. What do you think is going through his mind in terms of how he thinks the voters actually support him? I mean, he won right now, unofficially, 225 votes.
Close.
But, I mean, how would you?
I know
take
I
that?
had a close race with Mike Plosky after
Right.
serving, essentially a term and a half.
Right.
And it does. It affects you. You look at what you've done. You look at areas that, again, I mean, there's contention. It's different now. It's mostly online, where, back it was more public. It was more in person and that. But you would look at groups that maybe I can reach out to. Maybe I've got to look and go back and, work out that sore disagreement with someone. Are there policies I should be promoting that maybe I'm overlooking? And are there some policies I'm concentrating on that just don't resonate?
Yeah.
But it's hard, and you've got to be involved in it day to day. And as a mayor, you do have that instinct for it because you're living it, and you're doing things, and you might feel, maybe I should have focused on something else. But yeah, it's
Did you
it's
see
a cold
Mayor
water bath because I went through it. I
Cold
mean,
water bath.
I like that.
I won by a little more than that, but
My
it
new
was still
slogan,
close,
cold
and
water bath.
it did. It just
Yeah.
you sit there and you're working so hard at it. It's taken up your whole life. It takes away everything. No real vacations.
No,
The
Mayor
imposition
Coogan's
on the
on
family.
up at
The
5
time you're out
and-
doing
yeah.
things, and you won, but yeah, you would like to win 55, 45, 60,
Right.
99-1, as they
Right.
do in some countries,
Right.
but not here. But no, it does. It'll affect them. But he won, and he'll get to serve another term.
And he's
See
already
what
he's
he
already
can do.
mentioned in the interview I did with him a few weeks back that this is it. This is it for him. He said, regardless, this was going to be his last election. Well, win or lose, that this was going to be his last election.
I mean,
Well, he's at the Lady of Light Band Club, we can see, with
Yeah,
Ann
there's the
O'Neill
mayor
Souza,
there.
his chief of staff.
And there's Mr.
Mr.
Amro on the
Emerald's
phone.
And we'll see who's this
Who-
animated.
who
and
will-
I
who
know
will
in
speak
the
to their-
background, that was,
Who will
Yeah.
Looked like
speak
a
to their
worker.
supporters first, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You see Ann O'Neill Souza there as chief of staff, also speaking with the mayor. And looks like they're going over the numbers themselves. And here we go. We'll go through the numbers again. Speaking of the numbers, we'll start again with the city council race. The 9 listed on the left hand of the screen, those are those candidates who have been elected tonight. Again, these results unofficial. Cliff Ponte on top, 5,856 votes. Followed by Michael Canuel, 5,729 votes. Sean Kadim, a strong third, 5,385 votes. Andrew Raposo doing very well in fourth, 5,288 votes. Linda Pereira next, 4,951 votes.
All right, we got to cut back.
And we need to cut back.
Shot Coogan.
We're going to go back. We're going to go to the mayor's headquarters now at Our Lady of Light Band Hall on Quarry Street. I guess the mayor is getting ready to address his supporters there. There's Ann O'Neill Souza at the podium.
Paul Coogan. Though it wasn't a mandate, as they'll all say tomorrow, the vote's the vote, the score's the score. And tonight, Fall River will continue with a man who goes to work every day, does the best job he can, is honest, has great integrity, and does the best he can for the city of Fall River. I've been blessed to be there for 6 years with him on the 6th floor. There's so many, my family, my friends, Paul's family and friends here tonight, and we know there's not a dishonest bone in this man's body. He will always do what's best for you and your city. So I want you to all stand up tonight and welcome Paul Coogan for his next term as the mayor of the city of Fall River.
Well, that was something. You know, this is my 4th term, and I've been in some really tough races, but you can see the political climate changing a little bit, and it might have caught us a little bit off guard, and maybe I did some things campaign-wise that we could have done better, but at the same time, a win is a win, and we appreciate it very, very much. And the city of Fall River has been very, very good to me, and I will never do anything to cast a dark shadow over the city. We are going to keep the city moving forward. We are going to work hard. And it's not because of me standing up here. That doesn't happen. There's no way. You have a team of people in Government Center. You have a team of people in your police department, your fire department, your DCM, your schools. It's all one big pinwheel of people that are pitching in to make the city a better place to live. I just happen to be mayor, but I just look at this as myself having the opportunity to work with people with a singular goal to make the city a better place to live. And because the voters decided to give me 2 more years, we are going to work diligently, hard, and honestly to do everything we can to improve the quality of life for the residents of this city. We have a great city. I was extremely upset with some of the things my opposition said about the city is failing, there's not a good thing going on. As my father would say, that's a bunch of hogwash. There's a lot of good things going on in the city of Fall River, and we're going to stick with those. We're going to accentuate... We're going to accentuate the positive, and we're going to keep the city moving forward. And, you know, this is the part that's humbling.
Pretty much said what you just said, Mayor Mitchell, right? You know,
It is. It's, you know.
a cold bath.
Yeah, well, you're in the office, and day to day, you're just so preoccupied. And you're out meeting the public all. It's not like being president where you're completely removed. You don't even know what a scanner is when you go shopping. But, you know, you're seeing people, but you're just so wrapped up in it that the immediate things are so important. You're mostly around people who are supporting you, even when you go out. And, you know, I will say, like in the close election I had, people were receptive. You'd go out, we did a lot of door-to-door. And, you know, most people, they're not going to confront you personally, particularly when you go into the house. They recognize it. Doesn't mean they're going to vote for you.
Right.
So,
You know, and we're hearing that, I guess Mr. Amaral also spoke to his supporters at the same time. And we're going to be getting it. And I guess we're going to hear it. This was just a few moments ago from Primo on Water Street. Mr. Amaral.
Just tell everybody, what's your reaction to the vote?
I'm disappointed in the turnout, but numbers, I'm getting mixed things from City Hall. I'm getting mixed numbers, so we want a hand recount. We had machines down this morning. We had a lot of abnormalities this morning. We're gonna look into it for sure. If the mayor won, by all means, congratulations. From what I understand, from what I see, I don't see the same numbers, and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see the same numbers. So we're going to see what happens.
Why do you think the results turned out this way?
Apathy. The voters not coming out, and we made it clear. If the voters don't vote, you're going to get exactly what we always get, more of the same. And then the people will be complaining, saying, "Oh, we always get the same thing. We always get the same thing." Well, this is why. You have to come out and vote. So it's in your hands. We did our part. We did our job. We're here. I went through all of the torment, all of the made-up stories, all of the fact-checking and debates that we had to win, and we proved it all wrong. And his people are going to support him because they rely on him, and that we know that. We need the new voters to come out, and you got to show up. So we are where we are. Okay.
What was this experience like for you?
It's eye-opening for sure. I love the experience. I thought we did a great job. I think my campaign team, I'll put against any campaign team. It was fantastic. I mean, look around. It's all about hope and positivity and change, and people want something better. And I love my team. It was a great experience. I love this. So it was great. And being able to stand up and fight for the people, I'll always do that.
Do you plan to run again for any office?
I mean, I'm currently in an office, so I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to continue to fight for sure for the people. She had to take a call, sorry. It's whatever they say.
Right.
Apologize for the team here. That is really grade F video. So not sure how we can rectify it now, but feeling as I'm the letterhead here.
Mayor, I want to ask you a question about just the voting habits of Fall River. Last year, of course, Donald Trump won Fall River. Mr. Amaral is a Republican. Mayor's a Democrat, right? I mean, obviously, race does the party does not play a role. It's a nonpartisan election here in Fall River. No, I mean in terms of it's not there's no preliminary primary where you have a one from each party. Is the city rather maybe moving more to the right based on what you see tonight?
It definitely is. I think it's always been more conservative than certainly the state Democratic Party, particularly the west of Boston, Middlesex County Party. But I think now there's someone to rally to, and that was Donald Trump. And you saw it in the 4 elections each time. I know countywide, he almost carried the county.
Right.
And in 20, he carried 10 towns. And in 24, I think it was 14. So, in fact, only New Bedford really put the Democrats over the top countywide. It'd be interesting to track as best you could, because it was a much larger turnout with the presidential, but in the precinct by precinct, the ones Mr. Amaral won and how Trump did in those. I think partly it's party affiliation, but there is a disaffection, and it's different locally, but there is a disaffection. I attribute it more to the party system. I mean, Donald Trump was beyond party and came in outside of party, as did Bernie Sanders in 16. And I think both parties have failed. The Democrats haven't had a competitive primary system since 2008. And even that one, Obama won, it was really him and Hillary. So they really haven't had an open, well, before that was Gore. So you've got all these capable, talented people who don't get to come forward. And you'll have it for the first time for the Democrats, and to an extent for the Republicans. I mean, I think in 28. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see, because I do think Mr. Amaral fed into some of that and approached it that way, that it's different locally because your local leaders are so close. But I think there is a sense that, you know, the government, whether you want to call it the elite, which certainly not the case with our local government, but just the people in charge, that there's a, you know, you see it with the attack on police statistics and things like
Right,
that.
yeah.
And there is a following for that. People may not like it, but
Yeah.
there is this sense that a lot have happened in younger people's lifetime. You know, you had that big financial crisis. For some, you had 9/11, and it's
Right.
hard for us. I mean, I tell people we were blessed. We've lived, for someone my age, a markedly lucky and, you
My
know,
mother
plentiful
says that.
life.
Yeah.
It's amazing when I look
Yeah.
back on it. And, you know, for some of these younger people, there's been a series of crises. And there is this whole sense that, can we afford housing? Can we get ahead?
Yeah.
A job's going to be there. There's jobs are plentiful, but are they going to last 2 years or 4 years? And it's out there. And I think there's a younger group coming up. You're going to see it perhaps tonight in New York, I think. You've
Right.
seen it with AOC to an extent. But you're going to see it more, I think, mainstream. Just mainstream candidates come out and appeal to younger voters that we're going to make sure you can buy a house. We're going to make sure AI isn't going to overrun you and completely ruin your life.
Yeah.
And those are the fears they have, that certainly the party system, which promotes much older candidates,
Yeah.
I mean, in this case, almost
Yeah.
decrepit candidates nationally, but you're going to see it replaced. And
Yeah.
we'll be looking on it, and I think we'll be
Absolutely.
looking at it proudly, because, you know, these kids know what they're doing, they know what they've brought up with,
Right.
and it's so vastly different
Right.
with us. And the happiest thing in my life, I think, is we didn't have cell phones in 1974.
about-
Yeah, right.
You know, it was just a lot more fun without them. So.
And-
1974. Wait a minute.
It was interesting, you know, Mr. Amaral obviously keeping all his options open. He was,
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
got to.
right,
Yeah.
with 225 vote difference.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I paraphrased a little bit here from the garbled, you know, interview that we had. You know, he said if it's all proven and the numbers shake out, congrats.
Right.
He's ready to take it. He said he's not quite comfortable though now with the numbers, and he said that he heard there were some problems at polling places that he plans to look into. He will, so he didn't really concede. He didn't really call a victory. Said it's very much open, and he made that appeal. Mayor Mitchell, he made that appeal to young, new voters.
No, he did.
And
Yeah.
and felt that perhaps if more people had come out, but we did mention that there are potentially still votes that needed absentee ballots. Who knows?
Right. So you know, those who had mail-in ballots could actually have dropped off their ballots up to 8 o'clock tonight.
Up to
It
8
had to be
o'clock
had to be a
tonight.
government center in the elections office. They couldn't be dropped off at a polling
Couldn't be,
place.
right.
So those may not have been counted. How many there may be, we don't know. But there'll still be some more counting in the days ahead, at least over the next few days, I would think.
I would
And,
think too.
and there is, do you know, Mayor, when's the deadline when the numbers need to be certified, or at least
I'm not sure. I,
I wanna
can't recall.
say it's
I
about a
knew
week.
I thought it was 10
a few months
days.
ago,
10
but
days? It
Yeah.
could be 10 days, right?
So.
Well, I guess this is one of these maybe to be continued in a little bit of a way, but you know, to everybody that we worked with, to the candidates, the new candidates, the incumbents, the people that have been replaced, it's a pleasure working with all of them. And of course, our Fred TV students as well that worked behind the scenes, and I'm trying to find that exact list, but I think I wrote on the other back of it, so I will apologize, students. I know I have it. Oh, here we are, right? We got all.
There are too many papers in that folder,
Too many
Pam.
papers. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay.
But it's
I
an
don't
act of
seem to
courage
have
to
it.
put your name on the
No
ballot.
doubt about it.
Really
No
is.
doubt about it.
And credit to everyone who ran, win or lose. And I think it's more so an act of courage now because of what we talked about, particularly with social media. You know, it's the anonymity, and also just you can be filmed anywhere. Probably wouldn't go to Lizzie's anymore, even if it was open.
You never know when those mics are open. I found the list, by the way. So Sophie DeRago did a wonderful job directing. Thank you
absolutely.
for that. Lamar Sow, McKenna Borges, Aiden White in the studio cameras, Braden Kinder on our audio, Trevor Kamara and Nick Moss covered our locations. Primo on the Waterfront, and Our Lady of Light Fan Club. All Fred TV students,
Yep.
proud Durfee students, and I am lucky every day to have them in our presence. They teach us.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us tonight. We want to thank, again, everyone that was part of our production tonight. And it's been an exciting night. As of this point, Mayor Coogan has earned a 4th term in office. There's still some questions about that. There'll be 2 new members of the City Council and 3 new members of the school committee. That's the short version of what happened tonight. And I'm sure there'll be more talk in the coming days. So I'm Keith Tebow from FRC Media, wishing you a good night. Mayor Mitchell, thank you
It was
again.
enjoyable
Thank you
once
again.
And the
We hope-
voters always surprise us.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. All right, Pam, thank you for hosting as well.
Always. Yep,
And-
thanks for watching.
And have a great night.
Have a good night.